It seems that Ethiopia and Eritrea are in talks with a country to modernize their weapons, to buy more weapons. Both countries in negotiations with one a global power which has been exporting weapons to Africa for decades. Welcome to my views and news. Thanks for watching the channel. Two main news stories in this video. First one is about negotiations between Ethiopia and a country, Eritrea and a country, about modernization of their weapon systems, about procurement of more weapons. Second news story is about a protest which was held in Tigray today against the TPLF, against TPLF backed local government installed in a zone in Tigray. Let's start with the news story about procurement of weapons by Eritrea and Ethiopia. One point I want to make before the start of this video, before I start speaking on this topic, is that unless there is peace between Eritrea and Ethiopia, there'll never be development. Because it seems that both countries are going to spend a lot, major chunk of their revenue on defense. The defense budget is going to grow, and that will shrink the space available for spending on the people of the two countries. And whenever wars erupt, beneficiaries are those who sell weapons to warring parties. In recent India-Pakistani war, we saw that the two countries claimed victory. But if you ask me, the real victor in recent Pakistan-India limited escalation was China and the US. Why? Because the prices of Chinese weapons have increased after these weapons proved very effective against European weapons. So overnight, Chinese defense industries saw a boost. Now, the second beneficiary is going to be the US, because India is definitely going to turn to US to buy weapons to counter Chinese weapons being given to Pakistan. So who will earn money? China and the US. Who will pay the price? People of the two countries, Pakistan and India. Same will happen here too in the Horn of Africa between Eritrea and Ethiopia. Both are gauging each other's capabilities. Eritrea, smaller nation, but obviously it cannot ignore the ongoing efforts by the Ethiopian military to modernize its air force. Two developments which indicate that Russia is going to be the real beneficiary of ongoing Eritrea-Ethiopia tension. Both are turning towards Russia to buy weapons, to modernize their existing weapon systems. Firstly, senior Russian military advisors have arrived in Asmara. Reportedly, we got confirmation through some sources. And these people are going to work, these advisors are going to work on the weaponry which Eritrea holds, how to modernize the Russia-made weaponry in possession of Eritrea. Whatever Eritrea has, it's Russia-made. It's fighter jets, it's bombers, it's tanks, it's artillery pieces. Most of them are made in Russia. The military advisors in Russia, in Eritrea, are working with the Eritrean government on how to modernize the existing weapon systems which Eritrea has. It's not new. They have been working on it for some time, but keeping in view the new tensions, now they are speeding up the work. In parallel, we're seeing a development that a senior Ethiopian military delegation is in Russia, holding talks there with Russian defense ministry officials. Chief Berhano Jula is leading the delegation. Yilma Mirdasa is accompanying the delegation. Is part of the delegation. Yilma is head of Ethiopian Air Force. Ethiopia, I told you, Ethiopia is trying to modernize its air force. It's trying to build a very strong air force, keeping in view that the air power is what Ethiopia used against Tigray fighters, against Fano fighters, against Ola. And air power is the difference between Ethiopian federal forces and the rivals which the forces are fighting against in Ethiopia and in neighboring countries too. What we have learned from Russia is that the talks between Russian and Ethiopian delegations are focused on 3 points. Firstly, Ethiopia wants to manufacture weapons at home. It wants to manufacture armaments at home. It is requesting Russia to transfer technology to Ethiopia. It wants joint ventures, but on Ethiopian territory. It wants to be self sufficient. It wants joint ventures to produce some air machines, reportedly. Secondly, Ethiopian government wants to modernize its existing weapon systems. The Air Force, the ground force systems, artillery pieces, MLRS, their planes, etc. They want to modernize them in collaboration with the Russian government. Thirdly, joint military training they want to be organized. Joint military training and the training of Ethiopian technicians, Ethiopian officials, defense officials in Russia is being requested by the Ethiopian government. So both countries approaching Russia, and what they have in mind is basically a conflict. Eritrea, Ethiopia conflict. If this war erupt, which it should not, by the way, those who will sell weapons to the two countries will be the beneficiary of this war. Whether the provider of weapons are from the Middle East or Russia, but they'll make money and these two countries will kill each other. They'll kill each other, their people, their economies, everything. Second news story is about a protest which was held in Tigray today. Hundreds of people marched in a town against TPLF appointed government there. TPLF has been appointing new local governors, removing the governors affiliated with the previous president, the former president of Tigray, Getachew, who is no more in Tigray. Most of anti-TPLF governments have been dismantled. Only one zone still has anti-TPLF government, and that is southern Tigray. In southeastern Tigray, too, there are elements which oppose TPLF publicly. And in southeastern Tigray, we saw some protests against TPLF a few days ago. One such protest was held in Wajirat today, in Talo, Wajirat. I think it's in southeastern Tigray, where hundreds of people protested. They protested against the government, the local administration put in place in Wajirat. They want reinstatement of the earlier government, which has been dismantled by TPLF and Tigray military. So opposition is there to TPLF's efforts to dismantle governments in southeastern Tigray. But main opposition is coming in southern Tigray, where TPLF and Tigray military are very reluctant to make a move to dismantle government there, because if any attempt is made to dismantle the zonal and local governments there, that could be met with resistance by armed men in southern Tigray and on a far southern Tigray border. Watch the clip from Wajirat, people protesting there. Thanks for watching.